I'm here today with my colleague Megan, who's a Gorilla expert, and once we finish the presentation, she'll be here to answer many of your questions. So, with that, let me cover what we're going to cover today. We'll start with, I know we've got some people on the call today who aren't familiar with Gorilla, so we're going to start with a very quick introduction to what Gorilla is. Then we'll explore the basics of what having your participant chat with an AI could look like. Then we'll explore the key AI components, the AI integrations, the AI chat box, and the trigger AI component. Next, we'll dive into how to control the conversation flow, including adjusting prompts and dynamic follow-ups. So how you keep it off rails so that you get that spontaneity, but also on rails so that you maintain safety. And after that, we'll look at using AI to score and flag qualitative responses. And finally, we'll have an example where we put it all together. Throughout the talk today, I urge you to think about how you could apply these techniques in your research, because I'll be asking you as we go along for some ideas of how you could apply it. We'll finish with a Q&A, so feel free to jot down any questions as we go. You can put them in the chat or you can put them into the central Q&A section, and Megan will make sure we answer them towards at the end of the session. So, brief introduction to Gorilla for those of you who aren't familiar with Gorilla. So what's our vision? It's to create a better world based on evidence, not opinion. And we do this by creating an all-in-one research platform for human data collection so that we have, or you have, the data on what works. In a nutshell, participants go in and cognitive and behavioral data comes out at the bottom. Inside Gorilla, you'll find a survey tool, which is feature parity with leading survey providers, a task builder tool for building those stimulus response reaction time tasks, this study design tool, which allows you to flow participants through your mixed method protocol, where you've got surveys and tasks and counterbalancing and randomization, and also more complicated tools for specialist research. Our research grade questionnaire builder has all the functionality that you'd expect. The task builder is where you'll create cognitive and behavioral stimulus and response tasks. The task builder can also support more advanced studies, including studies with eye tracking, mouse tracking, drawing tasks, social media studies, and just recently, AI chat studies, which is what you can see in the bottom corner down here. The premium tools enable multiplayer studies, so for looking at things like cooperation and trust, gamified tasks, shopping simulations, and even UX UI simulations. So that's Gorilla in a nutshell. For today's session, I'm going to assume you're already familiar with some of the core Gorilla features, like the spreadsheet and the store. But if you're new to Gorilla, no problem. We'll give you a sense of what's possible with the new AI tools and how it stitches together, but we can also point you to some great resources to help you get started. You can get started with Gorilla really very quickly. So here's a first look at our brand new AI chat feature in action. In this demo, participants chat with an AI agent over a series of short trials. Each trial kicks off with the AI asking a question to get the chat started. The participants can reply and keep chatting until the timer runs out. Here's the timer at the bottom. Or move on whenever they're ready. And each chat focuses on its own little topic. For example, the first trial asks about the participant's favorite color, the next about their favorite book, and so on. In just a moment, I'll show you how the context updates as the conversation evolves. The AI responds naturally, adapting in real time to whatever your participants type. But you're in control. You can shape the prompts to keep the conversation as open or as guided as you want. So, how did we set this up? The AI chat and AI agent components are added to the screen, just like any other task component. And in the settings, we've clicked initiate so that the AI initiates it. And then in our spreadsheet here, we're saying what are the questions and what it should say when it's initiating itself. So let's have a look at that again. I'll press play again. We provide the AI chat down here with the context. And it asks the conversation based on what's in the spreadsheet, and then it asks follow-ups as well, so that you can continue to chat for the duration that the participants want to chat. So that's the very basic. You connect your LLM, you tell it what to ask about, and it guides the conversation with the participants. And here's what the data looks like. Just like with any other Gorilla task, you get structured data ready for analysis. In the response column, every interaction is recorded from both the AI and the participant and clearly flagged so you can tell who said what. You'll get complete reaction time data just as you'd expect from Gorilla, so that you can easily review, explore, and analyze every single conversation. So, as you can see, AI is opening up many new areas for research in a wide range of areas. These are just some examples. Regardless of your area of interest, Gorilla's tools can help bring AI into your research workflow, making it easier to enhance your studies and focus on what truly matters. So in order for you guys to get the most out of the webinar today, what would be really useful is if you could share in the chat what's your area of research and how you're currently imagining that AI could play a part. Are you interested in learning? Are you interested in foreign language acquisition? Are you interested in forming emotional connections or memory and learning or safety, cognitive offloading, or even behavioral change? So in the chat, love to hear from you. How are you currently imagining or hoping that you can incorporate AI into your studies? Come on, somebody must be. Brilliant. Thank you, Shuto. You're interested to form a relationship between AI and a participant to let the participant as a sentient being. Interested in behavior change and emotional connections, both learning and personal pathways. Would be great to incorporate AI in phonetic training studies. Oh, that's interesting. Memory, foreign language acquisition, changes in speech performance. Super cool. Personally, I'm interested in AI players and games. Nice. Really interested in learning and cognitive offloading. How do healthcare workers adapt to AI tools and how to avoid automation bias? Super interesting conversation. Um, Megan, we've got a really lovely Be Online talk about that. I think see if you can pull it up. Behavior change for disruption training. I'm a lab manager, so I help lots of people do research. For example, AI in marketing, AI in decision making, AI in behavior change. Brilliant. Thank you so much. This has been really helpful. I will crack on, but thank you for sharing your ideas. On a sleep intervention. How cool is that? Right. Let's crack on. So let's have a look at the AI components. What I'm going to share with you now is the mental model, how to fit them into your current understanding of Gorilla. And we'll come back to this diagram a few times, but it will help when you see the next videos of the functionality that we've made possible. It will help you slot it into the right place. So one of the components we have is this new AI chat component. And with the settings here, you set up your integration to whatever LLM you're interested in linking to. You could currently link to ChatGPT or Gemini, but we can also show you how to reach a custom integration if that's what's necessary. Then your participants chat with the AI chat box, and that conversation is securely stored in your regular Gorilla data. So that's the basic setup. If you're building a task where your participants talk to an AI, this is how you're going to do it. The prompt for your chat box can either be written in directly or it can be driven by the spreadsheet. So you can have multiple trials where the prompt is different each time. You can also use the store in the prompt, allowing you to use previous responses that the participant may have given you. Excuse me, I've got a cough. So that's the next level. You can create personalized and adaptive AI chat studies. But there's another thing you can do. Gorilla has a trigger system built in, which allows you to control the behavior of elements on the screen when certain things happen. For example, either at the screen start or when a particular response is given or after an amount of time has elapsed. Those are examples of triggers. And by pulling these triggers into the trigger AI component, this allows you to send a prompt to an AI service. Again, it's one of these three that we talked about before, ChatGPT, Gemini, or a custom one of your choice, and then do something with the result. So again, you connect this to your integration. Yeah, sorry. Um, so you, at the trigger, you can trigger the AI to do something. So this is how you get the scoring to work. And then the trigger AI can read in things from the spreadsheet or the store, but can also push things back to the spreadsheet or the store. And it can also push response results that come back to the trigger AI, back into the data, or back into the store. So that's an overview of how the pieces fit together. There's one other thing as well, which we're going to be able to show you at the end, which is the system prompts. This allows you you can have high level instructions that are always used in every AI interaction. This can be useful for integrating safeguarding. So if you want to make sure that participants aren't giving GDPR related information, you could put that in the overall system prompt. But we also use it in a later example where we get the AI to play tic-tac-toe against a human participant. The other thing worth knowing is with these integrations, the API, the integrations are linked with your own personal API key that you set up on your account, and these are stored securely on our servers and they're not exposed client side. So your security is paramount here. Right, let's go back to seeing some examples. Let's explore exciting ways you can use the AI chat box alongside core Gorilla features like the spreadsheet in the store. We'll see how you can guide conversations, add GDPR reminders, and branch into different screens, all while keeping your chats dynamic and controlled. So let's jump in. In this example, two things are happening at once. The context of the AI changes on a trial by trial basis, and the number of follow up questions also varies each time. For example, in the first trial, the AI asks about work and follows up once, but in the next trial, it asks about hobbies and asks two follow up questions. And then in the final trial, it asks about holidays and again with one follow up question. But this, of course, could be 10 follow up questions or 9 follow up questions or 7 follow up questions. This combination lets the conversation feel fluid and responsive, giving participants space to express themselves while keeping the dialogue structured and focused and moving on. It's that balance between control and freedom that helps the AI feel human, yet keeps your study safely on rails and gets you the data you need. So, how is this set up behind the scenes? In the AI instructions, we've linked multiple columns from the spreadsheet to the single prompt. One column defines the chat topic or the context for each trial. Another column defines how many follow-up questions the AI should ask. Together, these control both the flow and the depth of each iteration. You can also fine-tune how much divergence you allow in your study. So it's a simple but powerful way to manage open-ended conversations, flexible enough to feel natural, but structured enough to stay focused and compliant. I'll press this again. Other things you could do here is you could have a third column for each trial, which has a list of potential follow-up questions so that you're saying, well, pick a relevant question from these 10, or you could say, use these questions if they've responded in this direction, or those questions if they've responded in the other direction. Or you can leave it up to the AI to respond as it pleases. You know, you want that naturalistic flow. Researchers often worry about free text responses. What if participants share too much? And that's really a valid concern, especially when people might include personal or sensitive information without realizing it. To help with this, we can actually instruct the AI to act as a GDPR monitor to notice when participants might be sharing special category data and remind them to be cautious. So in this example, you'll see the participant type, I'm having difficulties with my bank. Can I share the details with you? And at that point, it's ambiguous, right? You wouldn't want them to share their actual bank details, the card numbers, but a generic difficulty like should I call this person or that person, you could help with. The AI recognizes that bank details count as personal information and it responds naturally. It's helpful and polite, but it also adds a gentle reminder: avoid sharing personal details. So the AI isn't blocking conversation, it's guiding it, keeps the participant experience smooth while helping you maintain compliance and protect privacy. So how does this actually work behind the scenes? In this task, we've added a short prompt directly into the AI chat box instructions. That prompt tells the AI, here it is, to detect special category GDPR data, things like bank details or health information, and remind participants not to include it if they try to. At this stage, the AI can't automatically remove that information that's already been typed, but it can notice when something sensitive appears and remind participants to be careful, to avoid that behavior. That's why a level of researcher supervision will always be important when reviewing the data. It's never going to be perfect. But here's a simple workflow you might follow in order to keep your data safe and compliant. In your participant information sheet, you'd remind participants not to share personal information. The AI would have this reminder that reinforces that message during the chat itself. The data pre-processing stage, you could check the data and redact anything that has slipped through. And then at the data minimization stage, you'd use strategies to limit and manage sensitive information overall. With this approach, you get the benefits of open, natural AI conversations while keeping privacy and ethics front and center. Another question that we get is, how can I end conversations gracefully? So in this example, there are two possible outcomes. If the participant ends the chat manually, they're sent to a screen confirming that they chose to finish the conversation. There you go. Sorry. But if instead the timer runs out while they're still chatting to the AI, they're automatically moved to a screen explaining that their time has expired. This gives participants clear feedback and keeps the whole experience feeling smooth and intentional, even when conversations end in different ways. Because, of course, you don't want your participants just chatting endlessly on one topic. You will eventually need to move it on once you think your participants have had enough time to chat. So here's how that works behind the scenes. When the participant presses the next chat button, Gorilla records the response as an end, and if the time limit runs out, Gorilla records the response as a timeout. That's how we've set it up. From there, a standard branch component takes over, using those responses to guide participants to either the end screen or the timeout screen, which has got the appropriate information on it. It's a simple but effective setup that keeps the survey on rails, participants informed, the data clean, and the experience seamless from start to finish. As well as putting context from the spreadsheet, the AI agent can also draw information that is stored elsewhere in the experiment. So in this example, participants first complete a personality questionnaire and see their results. Then, when they reach the AI chat, the agent uses those stored scores within its prompt, allowing it to talk naturally about the participant's own results. This makes the conversation feel genuinely personalized. Participants see that the AI knows something about them, which makes the dialogue richer, more engaging, and much more relevant to their experience. It's a great example of how AI can use stored data to create a deeper sense of connection while still keeping everything structured and controlled. In this example, of course, we're showing the scoring on a questionnaire, but there's no reason why you couldn't do this also with a task. You can score your task in real time and pass that score through to the LLM. So you could have measures of risk or measures of implicit attitudes that could be passed through. So how does this work behind the scenes? Inside the questionnaire, we've created 5 personality scores. Each of those scores is automatically saved to the store and can be passed through to later parts of the experiment. In the AI chat task, we simply bind the AI's instructions to those stored fields, and that gives the AI access to each participant's scores so that it can naturally refer to them during conversation. And just like that, you can pass any other stored information into your AI instructions, whether it's demographics, task performance, or other custom variables. It's an easy but powerful way to make your AI integrations feel tailored and intelligent without ever losing control of the data or the flow. So now let's dive. So that covers the sort of big examples that I wanted to show with the AI chat box part of Gorilla. Now we're going to look at the trigger AI possibilities. This is the bit that's happening behind the scenes. We'll see how we can score open text responses, flag sensitive data, and even draw on previous responses, turning your studies into rich, personalized experiences that go far beyond simple conversation. So here we have a slightly different setup. The AI isn't being used for live chat this time. Instead, we're using the trigger AI component to to score free text responses, turning open, qualitative input into useful quantitative data. In this task, participants answer questions about their mood by typing their responses in a text entry box. The AI then evaluates those responses and returns a numerical score. So, for example, if the participant writes, "I'm generally happy, parenting is stressful, but I think that's normal," the AI gives it a score of 4 out of 5. But if somebody writes, "Oh, I struggle with anxiety every day," the score drops to a 1. This approach shows how AI can move beyond conversation, acting as a tool to automatically quantify free text data in real time. It's a smart way to bridge the gap between open-ended responses and measurable insight. And here's how that works behind the scenes. On screen 1, the participant's response is stored, and then on screen 2, the trigger AI component is used. And it prompts the AI to score that response using a predefined set of criteria and saves that score to a new field in the store. That score can then be displayed back to the participant immediately, but it also appears in your data output. The exciting part here is that the AI can store qualitative responses against a rubric of your choice live as the data is collected. So if you were running a task on grammar and somebody typed in their sentence of the grammar they wanted to use, and you had a rubric of how to classify that grammar, you could send that response via Trigger AI to the LLM to do the scoring for you and pass it back. If you then want to use that score to inform follow-up questions, then you can do that too. So again, thinking about the language example, if someone tends to use one type of grammatic structure rather than a different type of grammatic structure, you could use that information to change the follow-up questions. This saves a huge amount of time in post-processing while keeping the scoring consistent, transparent, and tailored to your research goals. Here's another example. This time, the AI isn't scoring emotions, it's spotting sensitive information again. In this task, participants were asked a simple question: what did you do today? The AI reviews each response and flags it based on whether it contains any protected or special category data under GDPR. And each answer is then scored on a 0 to 2 scale. 2 means it contains special category data. 1 means it's ambiguous, might contain something sensitive, and 0 means there's no special category data. As participants give different answers, the AI automatically generates these scores. And the really useful part is that each score is passed through into your data file. That means that when you're processing your data later, you can automatically identify which responses need redacting and which ones need a closer look. It's a simple, powerful way to keep your onward processes clean, compliant, and efficient. Here you go. So the setup for this task is very similar to the one before. First, the participant's response is saved to the store. Then the Trigger AI component uses a prompt focusing on detecting GDPR sensitive content rather than the mood scoring we saw previously. The AI analyzes the text, assigns a score from 0 to 2, and then saves that score to a new field in the store so that it flows straight through into your data file. And that's the key point here. The AI's flag becomes part of your data pipeline. You can use that flag to drive your next steps automatically. So you could then automatically change to a different spreadsheet depending on what the score is telling it. It's an elegant way to build privacy and compliance right into your workflow without adding extra effort later. This one's really exciting. This is new. When we last hosted this webinar, somebody asked, could you get Gorilla to play tic-tac-toe? We weren't sure we could, but Megan took it away. She's risen to the challenge. We've got an example. So in this next example, we're going to look at what it takes to use a large language model, an LLM, to play against a human participant in a game of tic-tac-toe. And yes, it really is possible. If we come back to our mental model of the AI components, this example uses several of them working together. The system prompt, the Trigger AI, the spreadsheet, and the store. Together, these allow the AI to behave as an intelligent game opponent, responding to the player's moves in real time. So it is. The AI is making its move, then the human plays. Now the AI is making a move, then the human plays again. Then the AI makes its move, and so on. As you can see here, both the AI and the participant's move appear one after the other, just as you'd expect in a live game. But what looks like a straightforward interaction is, in fact, seamless exchange, prompts and responses happening in the background. Let's take a look. Behind the scenes, we can see this new system prompt where we explain to an LLM how to play tic-tac-toe in Gorilla, how we've laid out the board, and how to interpret what's been played before and how it decides what it should play next. So we tell the AI, you're playing tic-tac-toe, the human plays X, you play 0, and then some additional instructions, so it knows how to do that. On the participant side, their moves are recorded automatically and stored in the store. Then on the AI side, each trial uses a trigger AI component that sends the current game state stored in the spreadsheet back into the model. Just play that one through again. So there's the system prompt. This means that the AI has full awareness of all previous moves before starting its next move. So here's our main game board. The participant response is captured and saved to the store. And then the AI chat it's got a specific prompt in the trigger AI component. The output of that is saved to the store as well. And then the spreadsheet reads in those moves from the store so that it knows how it's playing. So if we return to our mental model of the AI components, here's what's happening conceptually. The system prompt defines that overall instruction, you're playing tic-tac-toe. The trigger AI component, each time somebody plays, knows to go and look at the store, pass that information into the spreadsheet and over to the integration to go, what's the next move? The store then captures the moves that have been played and the moves that the LLM wants to play, and that's how it. So everything from both the participant and the AI is automatically included in the data output, ready for analysis. It's a simple game, tic-tac-toe, but a powerful demonstration of how you can use these components together to create interactive, dynamic AI experiments. Now let's see how it all comes together. We'll combine the AI chat box, trigger AI, the spreadsheet, and the store into one seamless flow, showing how these tools can work in harmony to create powerful, flexible, and personalized research experiences. So here's an example using all of the features, the AI chat box, the trigger AI, the spreadsheet, and the store to combine into a single seamless task flow. In this setup, participants chat with the AI agent across multiple trials. Each conversation is then scored using trial-specific criteria and checked for any sensitive data under GDPR. So in one task, you can run natural AI conversations, gather rich qualitative data, quantify it automatically, and flag anything that needs a closer look. It's a complete intelligent workflow designed to keep your studies powerful, flexible, and compliant. And these chats can go as long as you want. They could be chatting dynamically for a whole minute, 90 seconds, 5 minutes, whatever you please, or you could keep them much shorter. So there. So how is this set up behind the scenes? The conversation prompts change dynamically from trial to trial, controlled by the spreadsheet. And at the same time, the trigger AI component runs quietly in the background, scoring each response against a topic-specific rubric and applying GDPR flagging rules. Because the prompts are bound to the spreadsheet columns, you can update the scoring criteria on a trial-by-trial basis. For example, in this setup, trial 1 scores mood, trial 2 scores on career satisfaction, trial 3 scores engagement with hobbies. Here you go, you can see them here. This is your family, your career, your hobbies. Oh, I don't know what happened there. That flexibility means you can tailor every part of the conversation and the scoring to your specific research question, all within a single Gorilla task. And when we look at the data output, we see all the participant responses and the reaction times, plus both sets of scores updated for each response. So here's the response, here's the context, here's the response, here's the GDPR flag, here's the answer score. And you get a long, long list of all parts of the conversation. So that brings us to the end of today's demonstrations. I hope you've seen how the AI chatbot and Trigger AI can work hand in hand with the spreadsheet in the store, helping you create richer studies, smoother workflows, and more exciting data collection. So, what should you do? If you're excited by these possibilities, what should you do next? We had this slide at the beginning of our talk. AI is opening up many new avenues for research in a wide range of areas, and you all shared some ideas of how you might use it as well. But now that you've seen the features in more detail and you've got a more concrete understanding of how it could be used, I'd love it if you'd share in the chat what's your area of research and how you think AI could play a part now, just that more detailed view. Would you use it for a grammar study? Would you use it for qualitative research? Would you be using it for designing behavioral interventions? Don't leave me hanging here. Please put some ideas in the webinar chat. I know some of you have some great ideas. Definitely. You had great idea. Oh, a humor comprehension study. Oh, that's a delightful idea. How funny was that? Why was it funny? Was there anything that wasn't funny? I would use it to co-design behavioral interventions. Oh, that's a great idea, Anna. I love it. So then the person would design it with the AI, going, would that work for me? Would that not work for me? And capture all that data. That's lovely. I have several researchers who would love simulated players in simple co-op games. Fabulous. Yeah, we've got our multiplayer tool, and you can use the LLM tools within multiplayer. So that could work really well. Oh, yeah, and to evaluate them, process the evaluation as well. Any other ideas from people here today? I'd love to hear how you think you could use these tools within your studies. I'd like to use it to test different AI output interfaces and see if this affects decision making and healthcare choices. Oh, we've definitely have somebody do that before, sort of showing they were showing how AI could be used if you're looking at a whole load of scans to narrow the solution space so that you get the best of the AI, like drawing attention to the anomalies, and then the human can look at the anomalies and make make an informed judgment. Using AI as an advisor or opponent in a dyadic strategic interaction, that sounds cool. To examine how social interactions online can influence attitudinal polarization. Oh yeah, because you could instruct the AI to either be extremely agreeable and to agree with what somebody said, but also just take an opposite stance and see how we can, or different stances, and see how we can reduce that sense of polarization and what allows people to work together. I also want to use it to design LLM support for international students. Oh, that's quite a neat idea. Awesome. Thank you for sharing your ideas. That was really fun for me. Um, so the tools we've introduced today are designed to be easy to integrate into your existing research workflows. If you've already got Gorilla, all you need to do is to buy the add-on. They're available now. You can start using them right away. These tools obviously operate within Gorilla's secure environment, ensuring that your data remains protected throughout the research process. So it should be easy to bring this through your IRB or your ethics board. The goal is to help you incorporate AI without complexity, allowing you to focus on your research questions rather than the technical setup. And as you've seen today, you don't need to do any coding in order to use our AI tools. So they're available, powerful, easy, and secure. And this was just delighting me a little bit that the first letter of these 5 words spells apes, which, is nice given that we're called Gorilla. So what to do next? If you want to use the AI components, you can follow this link or this QR code and register, and one of my team will reach out to you. Or alternatively, you can message me or message your account manager, and they will get you set up with the AI tools. In terms of access to the AI features is available as an optional upgrade with clear, flexible pricing depending on your scale. And as always, our support team is here to help you every step of the way, from setup to study design to data analysis. We're incredibly excited to see what you'll create with these tools and to help you lead the next chapter of behavioral research. The pricing I'm showing here today, this is our launch pricing. It's available for early adopters. Um, it will change at some point next year, but at the moment, if you want access to our AI tools, there's a cheaper price for researchers and lab and a more expensive price for everybody in your department to have access. But hopefully that sounds really exciting.